Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is on something that I had to learn the hard way on our 2010 Mustang, and I want to let you know it's multiple years of the Mustang and other trims as well. I'm not going to claim to know it all and tell you what type of vehicles that you have this in or how many or whatever. Just saying that you can look at the 2010 Mustang. I know my daughter's 2014 Mustang has it as well. And I think we had an Explorer that had something similar to this. Now, there's two common problems. If you have this random water that gets onto the interior front where your feet goes, the front floorboards, and maybe there's some water there once in a while, maybe it doesn't happen all the time, maybe it's certain ways you park, I have an idea what it might be, issue that we had here. So when we got my other daughter's 2014 Mustang, the very first thing I did was check this, and it was bad too. All right, so let me show you what we're talking about. On a lot of cars, especially on the Mustang, you have the cowl here, the cowl drain. You have the vents, and then there's little drains back in here. What you've got is when water runs down the hood, the windshield, it collects into here. And Ford actually installed, and we have to do this in the garage, so we have limited lighting because it's just cold outside. But right down here, I don't know if Gavin can be able to see, right where, you see where my hand is pointed? Okay, well right down here we have this little rubber boot. Now we're going to pull this boot out. Okay, we don't have water leaking out, but if you see this boot, let's see what falls out. Because I cleaned this out before, it's not that bad. But what happens is you can see this little bit. This is how it normally looks. I'm sure when it's new it's flat, but it has a little bit of an opening. Here's what happens. This goes into the firewall. As water comes down through the cowl front, I know I'm probably saying it wrong, into the cowl, what happens is it drains into the bottom, and then that exits through here. Now, over the years, when you park outside, you get dirt, debris, you get leaves. They make their way down into this area, and they decompose, and they stop up, and actually creates dirt, mulch, and just rotten leaves and whatever. But it'll actually plug this drain up. So here's what happens. Your cabin air filter is accessed under this plastic piece right here. You have to pull this pin, and I think there's a clip over here, but it separates right here. This comes up, and your cabin air filter is down in here. Now, here's what happens. The water builds up in the cowl, right? It can't drain. Cowl. I'm not saying cowl like moo cow, it's the cowl. So it can't drain out of here, so the water level builds up, and it actually overflows onto that cabin air filter, down through the evaporator into the floorboard. It can happen on the driver's side as well. And, you know, like most streets in America, I would say, and I would say most, is when you park on the street, you tend to park with the passenger side against the curb, and that's which way the car leans. So you typically have more of this on the passenger side than the driver's side, but it does happen on both sides. When I found this issue and I pulled this boot out, water just poured out. It was actually pretty bad. So you have one on the passenger side, and you have a drain over on the driver's side as well. So you'll definitely want to make sure that you maintenance these, especially if you park. I mean, if you have a car that's new and it stays in a garage and you're out very little, well, this is probably not going to happen, at least for quite a while. But if your car stays outside and you use it, drive it, and who knows where you park, and especially this time of the year, fall, when you have leaves coming down, you're going to get the stoppage up into top of that firewall. This boot here gets dirty. I mean, you see my hands are just a little crusty here. We're going to clean this out. We're going to reinstall this back into the firewall. All it does is this presses into the firewall. This little lip right here is what holds it in. Like I said, you have one on each side. Let me put this back in, and we're going to roll on something else that is likely to be a maintenance item as well. So now we're back to, obviously, the driver's side. You have one of these on the passenger side as well. Now, when we have water on the outside of the vehicle running down the glass, it'll run between the gap of the glass and the door. Now, if you think about it, when water runs into that door, where does it go? Some vehicles will have just a little hole in between the door, the outer and the inner door skin. There'll be a little drain hole there. And in that case, you just have to take a screwdriver or something small and press up in there and clean that out and allow that water that collects in this door to drain out. But on this 2010 Mustang, here's what we have. So what would you notice in this issue? You would notice that when you open and close the door, you hear water sloshing. You're like, what the heck? So right here, you have this plug. So we're going to pull this plug out, and there you go. So there again, this one, let's look at this. You see all that debris in there?
All gunked up.
Yeah. So let's get a screwdriver and clean that out. But if you look at this right here, we're going to pick this debris out of the door. And there again, this is leaves and road crud and whatever else. Now, I will tell you, I've done this before. The first time I did it, we had water in the door. So now we're clean. So what happens is there is a little bit of a gap around this plug, and water is able to drain out around it. But when this plug is in here, I know some people just leave this plug out, and they just leave it out and just let it drain, and then every once in a while. But unless you know that this drain is here or this clean out is here, well, you don't know. And here is all this cover looks like. That's it right there. Just this little cover. Now that's going to go back in there as well. See all that stuff that came out? Very awkward angle to try to do this and to film. So that's it, plugs back in there. All right, so I hope that helps you. So if you have these random water noises in the either driver's side or passenger side door and you're wondering what the heck it is, well, you just saw what it could be. And if you have that random water leaking in the floorboards, well, you know where to start. There again, this is a maintenance thing. You might even want to check it. Even though you don't have a water leak, are they stopped up? Are the drains stopped up? Is this a problem for you? So you don't know until you check. And if you're a car dealer, this should be definitely something that you add to your service. Every time somebody comes in, get an oil change or maintenance, you recommend that they clean any drains that there may be in the door, the cowling area. I know this is small, but if you look at the scale of service and you look at how many clients you see in a year, that can add a couple dollars to the P&L. So in this case here, if you have a car, Mustang, you have, I don't know, any vehicle. It could be any brand of vehicle. Even if you don't have the plug, you might just have a pinhole for a drain. Find them, maintenance them, and there you go. Hope this video helps. We're getting ready to sell this 2010 Mustang. We did some general maintenance on it. That's why there's a little bit of water on the floor. We just washed it, pulled it back in the garage, because believe it or not, it is cold today here in Virginia. I know it's rare for Virginia, but it's actually pretty chilly, so we're in the garage doing this. Anyway, my name is Dwayne. This is Driven Wild Outdoors. If you haven't already, please give me a thumbs up on this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell icon so you'll know when we drop a video and new content comes out. And I'll look forward to seeing you on the next video.